Happy Saturday evening, everybody. It's been a bit of a gray and soggy day here on the Texas-Oklahoma border, but we're looking for some League One action to light it up as informed Texoma FC hosts the mighty Mingos of Madison. And our match today is brought to you by Parker University. Historic Sherman Bearcat Stadium is the site for the second all-time meeting between Texoma and Forward Madison, but the energy entering this one is a far cry from the first, and we're going to show you why as we take a look at the last match in the league for both teams, starting with Texoma. They had a midweek match against top of the league Spokane on the road this week. It started with some frustration for Javier Garcia and company, but Coach Forbes told me that that goal just inspired his team for a big second half turnaround. Teddy Baker finds Maciej Bortnichuk for the equalizer, and Texoma leaves the league leaders with a point, extending their unbeaten run to 7 matches heading into this game against Forward Madison. Madison's last league match was about 10 days ago. They played on national TV against Westchester and got off to a really good start at home. An early penalty kick, 4th minute, converted by Garrett McLaughlin, but Westchester fought back, and it was a story of sour defeat for Forward Madison, all coming to a head right at the end of this one. Burn Shipman came off his line and was called for a penalty by taking down Juan Carlos Obregon. The worst part of all of it, he makes the save, and Westchester still scores. It's been that kind of season for Madison. They come into this one with 9 games without a win in the league, but they won their last match in the Jägermeister Cup, and they're looking to keep that momentum tonight. The countdown to kickoff continues right after this. .82 degrees here in Sherman, Texas, historic Bearcat Stadium for tonight's match, presented by Parker University between Texoma FC and Forward Madison FC. Let's get a look at our starting lineups, and we go first with Texoma. Adrian Forbes going with the 4-4-2 that has worked so well for them during this unbeaten run. Up top, Brandon McManus and Ajmir Spengler forming a dynamic duo. There's a lot of strength in the midfield as well. Look at Teddy Baker, Ozzy Ramos in there holding it down, providing the grit and the technique to break down Forward Madison. We flip to the Mingos and Matt Glazer in the classic 3-4-3 setup. The front three today is going to be Derek Gebhard, Garrett McLaughlin, and Nazim Bartman. Devin Boyce is missing for this one for forward Madison, but the good news, one player who's back in since their last league match is Mitch Osman, the captain at the back, who returned in the Jägermeister Cup, and he comes in for his 5th start of the League One season. Injuries have certainly been a story for forward Madison, part of the reason for their struggles early on this season, finding themselves in last place in the league with just 9 points as we enter this one. The last 3 games at historic Bearcat Stadium have featured 18 total goals, 1 stoppage time heartbreak, and a Texoma victory on the final kick of the match. When Los Pájaros take flight in front of the home fans, the sky is the limit, even if there may be some bumps along the way. My name is Parker Johnson. I'll be your captain tonight for this one, live from Sherman, Texas on ESPN+. Forward Madison on the road in the white and pink. Texoma at home, all black from head to toe with the red letters and numbers. It will be Texoma in possession first. This is their 2nd match of the week. They had one of the toughest trips in USL League One. It is their furthest trip out to Spokane. Of course, made more difficult as we get some contact on the halfway line from Spangler taking down McLaughlin. That matchup even tougher when you consider how good Spokane have been this year, and yet Texoma managed to get out of that road trip with a 1-1 draw. They had a second half comeback after conceding just before halftime, and that extended their unbeaten run to 7 matches heading into this one. But a brutal start at the very beginning of the season means that even with that 7-match unbeaten run of 4 wins and 3 draws in the league, Texoma still a little bit below the playoff line heading into this match. They come in 9th place, but there are 4 teams tied on 16 points. One of them is playing right now. That is one Knoxville. And Chattanooga, who Knoxville is playing at the moment, is only 1 point ahead of that group of 4. So there could be a lot of movement in the standings just between those couple of games. As Nazim Bartman intercepts the crossfield pass, but unable to keep it under control, with McLaughlin working ahead of him. Angled pass, chased down by Bortnichuk, the Polish forward who scored the equalizer against Spokane on Wednesday. Here he is on the ball, dropping it off to Reed Valentine. He is the only change in the starting lineup from Texoma's starting 11 against Spokane. He comes in for Preston Kilwine, who picked up a knock in that match. Sometimes you see Valentine play on the left, sometimes on the right of the back 4. In the Spokane match, he came in and played on the right, and Will Perkins played at left fullback, but it's Perkins in the right back position from the start as Texoma earned the free kick and taken quickly by Luke McCormick, man who was fouled. Jake Kroll understanding that wasn't in the most dangerous position, not a bad place to give away a free kick. Valentine pressured here by Bartman. Get some support from Maciej Bortnichuk. Last touch by Madison. See the shrug from Matt Glazer. Pretty clear what he thinks about that call. He was trying to rally the troops. They did get a win. I mentioned that it's been 9 games since their last league win, but they did finally break the winless run in all competitions in their last match. That was last Saturday against one Knoxville in the Jägermeister Cup, as there's a poor back pass here from Baker. Looks like he got caught in 2 minds, and it's at the feet of Derek Gebhard, who's been the most efficient scorer for Madison this season, 4 goals in the league. Another player with more than 2 Coach Glazer saying that it was just such a relief for his side to finally get that win. He said there's been games where they actually performed a lot better than they did against One Knoxville. Long shot speared in by John Murphy, who quickly addresses his boots. There were better performances during this stretch without a win for Madison. They only put 2 shots on target against One Knoxville, but one of them was a penalty kick converted by McLaughlin, and they end up with the 1-0 victory. A much needed clean sheet as well. They've only kept 1 in the league this season. They haven't leaked too many goals, 11 less than Texoma, in fact. So it will be an interesting clash of styles. Madison like to possess, Texoma in general like to play on the break. Madison will have to find a difference maker. Perhaps it will be Derek Gebhard, having his best start to a season in a Madison shirt. Already eclipsed his total of league goals from last year, where he put up 3. He's got 4 so far in this campaign. Played back by Bortnichuk. Chavez rolling it out to McCormick as the Englishman cuts in field. Hartman has an overlap from Souza. Gebhard there as well, and the combination doesn't come off as Calvo shuts off the airspace. Angelo Calfo, the 26-year-old center half, formed a very sturdy partnership with Jordan Chavez back there ever since they moved to the 4-back formation. Texoma started the year by putting out a 3-back system. Adrian Forbes said that it was an idea he had when he came over, formerly with Luton Town, Norwich City in the English Football League. It's tossed in, and Cius taken away by his opposite number, Najmir Spangler. And Coach Forbes was willing to admit to his team that it may not have been the best system for them. They switched to the 4-back, and they really have not looked back since. They've also been able to get their full roster in, which was not available at the beginning of the season, and those have been big contributing factors to the uptick in form. Free kick to Texoma, 7.5 minutes in. Very rainy day in Sherman, and the sun a welcome sight for this great crowd. Perkins appears to need a little bit of treatment before we restart the play. So it looks like Texoma will be with 10 men until he can sneak his way back onto the pitch. And Perkins returns as it's a forward Madison throw. Timmy Mell in possession. Clipped up by Murphy. Souza spots McLaughlin. A strong header, but Chavez came through the back of the Madison forward. That sets up a free kick right at the edge of the 18-yard box. Madison did flash in that one long shot earlier, but this will be their first real chance of the match to threaten Javier Garcia's goal. Chavez with a little too much contact as he came through the back of McLaughlin, but good hold-up play from the center forward, and it's all about Souza playing that positive pass to force the Texoma center back into a tough spot. The right foot of Bartman, the left foot of Kroll, as South Africa and Austria decide over this short free kick. Kroll hesitates, and it's Bartman scraping the side netting outside the frame. And it didn't seem like Garcia had it covered, had this stayed on target. He was over pretty close to his post, but didn't feel the need to dive on that one. Strong defensive work from Gebhard, slides it out of play. The USL on CBS kicks off July with a hot showdown in the Championship Eastern Conference. Last season's final runner-up Rhode Island FC takes on Northeast rival Hartford Athletic on Saturday, July 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Leaving it a touch short for Christopher Garcia. Brian Yip's whistle remaining consistent. Some more contact from behind, very similar to that free kick we saw given just outside the penalty area. And this time it's Perkins who leaves Garcia on the deck. Christopher Garcia, the left wing back today. He'll be up against Perkins, who managed to find the nose plug while he got some attention on the sideline a couple of minutes ago. Garcia, the lone Texan in the Madison team, hailing from El Paso, pretty far away from Sherman, but a few players making a return. Gary McLaughlin, originally from Oklahoma, so he represents the other half of this Texoma area. Spangler almost able to intercept as Texoma remains poised and like a coiled spring in their 4-4-2 defensively. They know that Madison want to have the ball. They know that they will pass it around the back three. As you see here, just inside their own half. And then there will be moments, as you see from McCormick, where they decide to trigger that pressure. And that's where this game could hang in the balance. Both coaches pointing to the importance of those transitions as I spoke with them this week. Especially for Madison on the road in the hot conditions. Matt Glazer said that he did not want to turn this team, or this game rather, into a track meet. That would not benefit his team. Flashed in, poked by Bartman. There was a handball on the cross from Souza. Seems like Souza up against Valentine, the replacement left back, has been the most fruitful area of attack in the opening 15 minutes for Madison. Spengler with a chance to turn. Creative node of the attack as a long shot bobbles along the ground. A sighter for Spengler and an easy save. A birthday gift for Burn Shipman, who turns 31 today. Longtime Madison goalkeeper in his 3rd season with the side. And despite the poor run of form for Madison this season, I mean, defensively, they've been very sturdy. Shipman with a 1.33 goals against average in the league. Today making his 10th start in USL League One. Had dealt with some injury issues coming out of preseason. A firm whistle right on the halfway line as Spengler is grabbing his head. The elbow coming through from John Murphy. Some chirping between the 2 experienced pros. Chavez, I'm sure, thinking about the foul he was whistled for. Right at the edge of his own penalty area. Thinking that Murphy's infraction wasn't a whole lot different. It's only a fair call. Shipman. Best choice to clear it long on this occasion. McManus brings it in. Spengler might have had eyes for goal there, but it's blocked right at the tip of his toes. Garcia slicing in, blocked by Chavez. You can hear the fans showing appreciation to Chavez. Another duel involving the Texoma center half. McLaughlin took a dramatic tumble off the ball. Referee did not choose to blow his whistle. He noticed that McLaughlin is down, and now he will stop the game to check on him. We'll have to get another look at what happened there. But I think both teams starting to sense that this game is being whistled tightly. Trying to bargain for calls at every opportunity. So let's see what happened there. Maybe a tangle of legs even. Hard to tell. But one of those occasions, as we do not have VAR in USL League One, where you have to rely on whatever the referee sees, and something off the ball like that, sometimes it's just a play on. So that's what we do into the 19th minute as Matt Glazer looks on. Commanding presence of a former professional goalkeeper. It's been the attack lacking for Madison. Last in the league in goals with 9 on the season. The recent winless spell, it's been particularly dire. Only 1 goal that did not come from a penalty kick in their last 5 league matches. And if you count the Jägermeister Cup, only 1 goal not from a penalty kick in their last 7 matches in all competitions. Bartman on the turn. Has Souza to the outside. Deflected to McLaughlin. It's set up perfectly. And he could not keep it on target. If there's a man you want it to fall to, It's the second leading goal scorer in USL League One history, tied for second place with the former Mingo striker Christian Cheney, as those two have been going back and forth up the standings. It's very jumbled in the all-time record books. Everybody, of course, chasing Emiliano Terzaghi. But McLaughlin's left-footed effort going askew in the 20th minute. The USL on ESPN2. Watch July 11th as West Coast rivals take to the field to fight for valuable Western Conference Championship points. Monterey Bay FC battles California rival Orange County SC Friday, July 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Ford Madison had a couple of opportunities to play on national TV recently as well. Of course, one of the most popular teams in League One. The last match that was on CBS Sports Network didn't quite go so well in front of the national audience. Playing against Westchester, they scored early and then conceded 2 for a 2-1 defeat. That was their last league match some 2.5 weeks ago. But the team got a big break. They were able to play a friendly as well against Tigres U23, one of the Mexican youth teams. And then coming back with that win against Knoxville in the Jägermeister Cup, the team's been reset a bit since their last league match. And they're off to a positive start in this one. 4 shots already for the Mingos, just 1 for Texoma here at home. But the pattern of the season playing out in that Texoma's only shot did go on target. Forward Madison out of their 4 have not forced a save out of Javier Garcia. Gebhard gets past Spengler. He's forced to go back to Kroll. Just about a quarter of the way through the match. Shipman looking for Bartman. On the far side from McCormick, but turned back by Valentine. Texoma have not had much of the ball in the early going. Chance here to get a little bit of possession, settle things down, push Madison back a touch. McCormick back to Spengler. As McCormick on the chase. Slide early, and it's tapped in by Texoma. Brandon McManus on the spot. Takes advantage of the fortunate deflection. Texoma in front, 1-0 at historic Bearcat Stadium. Simple 1-2 with Spengler and McCormick. And then Madison just appearing to get their wires crossed a touch. A late reaction as Shipman palms it right back down in front of goal. McManus has that nose for net. Seen it since Texoma's first ever match when he was the club's debut goal scorer and the man who made the team out of an open tryout, now notching his second goal of the league campaign, putting Texoma in front in the 25th minute. It looks like Bortnichuk suffered in the process. There was a collision, and looks like Shipman might have a problem as well. Collateral damage from our opening goal. Had to wait 25 minutes, and Texoma just coming to life right in a flash.
The Texoma FC Foundation is more than just soccer. It's a commitment to giving back to the communities it supports.
Bit of a wake-up call from Matt Glazer right now.
Texoma FC Foundation is creating real
trying to keep his team locked in.
Free soccer plans for kids, supporting military families, or investing in the future of all Texas.
Told me about how he wanted to carry that momentum over from the win against Knoxville. He said that there were players who you could tell had some relief, feeling that weight off their shoulders of finally earning a win. Doing it in league play is another barrier, and this early deficit building the frustration. Really Texoma's first real chance of the match. That was only their second shot. Their first one was just a effort. Forward Madison have managed to draw 4 matches after conceding the opening goal. So there is certainly some hope for a comeback. And as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Texoma in particular at home have played some very chaotic fixtures. There's been several comebacks recently, some high-scoring matches, a 5-4 game that they dropped against Phoenix Rising in the Jägermeister Cup. As we see the entrance of Lamine Janet, the Gambian attacker who will have to replace Bortnichuk after the collision on the goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Texoma FC goal scored by number 7, Brandon McManus, in the 24th minute.
Certainly a capable replacement. Adrian Forbes was telling me about the level of competition that there's been in training recently, with how many players have been fit and in form. And this is a sad ending to the evening for Maciej Bortnichuk. 23-year-old attacker. But he helped put his team in front, and that will be his last contribution after earning them a point against Spokane in the midweek. Texoma making the trip back and playing on short rest. I was told by Matt Glazer that at least for Madison, when they take that trip, it's about a 15 or 16-hour journey home. And so to play it on short rest was something that Madison actually had to do earlier this year. It was 2 league matches ago that they traveled to Spokane, and they had to play that game against Westchester right after on the Wednesday after a Saturday match. Spoke about just how difficult that turnaround is. Just a pause in the action as they make sure that Bortnichuk is away from the field so that he's not in any danger from a flying ball or somebody crashing into him off the sideline. Well, 3 games Saturday night in League One. Chattanooga and Knoxville going at it. They're in the final stages there. Chattanooga up 1-0, which would extend their grip on 4th place. That local derby, and then after this one, your nightcap AV Alta taking on Union Omaha. They're one of our expansion teams this year. AV Alta has been definitely flying in League One. AV Alta coming into today 3rd place in the standings, 22 points on the season. So with Chattanooga, they hold on here. They're up 1-0 final moments. That'll put them up to 20 points and 4th in the table, jumping over FC Naples, but it's so crowded. And as this result stands, Texoma in the lead early. It would be up to 6th place, despite the -6 goal difference on the season. Brian Yip signals that we are back underway after a mid-first half pause, but the goal from Brandon McManus has Texoma in front. And now we'll see how these two teams adjust here. An unexpected sub as John A comes on for Bortnicek after the injury, but it's a like-for-like switch. Shouldn't change a whole lot for Adrian Forbes and their game plan, but a goal certainly could. It's Bartman. Didn't miss by much. Claiming that he got a kick from Chavez after releasing that shot. Seemed like Garcia was beaten off his line. As John A brought into the action for the first time. Good cushioned header. Baker spotting McManus and Spengler. It was worked so well, but couldn't find the finish. But given right back as Spengler picks it up. Back post ball. McCormick was there, but a touch too late. Madison urged by Timmy Mel to just calm it down. Another look at the unselfish layoff from McManus, but Bernd Shipman putting his body on the line. I think it goes off his face in the end. And that is a big time stop to keep the deficit at 1. Reminiscent of Texoma's first goal they ever scored at home in the league. There was a ball played over the top and then a perfect layoff. On that occasion, it was McManus who got on the end of it rather than being the man to lay it off. But a similar pattern of play that has worked before for Texoma. Garcia doesn't have the angle to shoot, and Perkins did well to track him all the way across the goal. Back with Garcia, touched off the head of Bartman. An interception from the sliding Chavez, clearly a fan favorite. Macias with plenty of space to turn. Timmy Mel swung in, touchdown, and hit! Wide of the mark from Garcia. That is a clever knockdown from Derek Gebhardt. Being able to recognize that he was not going to be able to control it for himself. And just spinning it back right on a plate for Christopher Garcia. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Johnny. Chopping, gliding, and a right-footed shot, not his favored foot. Easy save for Shipman in the end. Ball's been splitting the lines as Garcia once again the outlet. Souza waiting for the bounce and gets it off the head of Valentine. Curled over, back stick, it's Garcia. Christopher Garcia very active in the early going. Hasn't been accurate enough with his final touch, but causing some problems for Will Perkins. Calmly done out of the back by Texoma, then sent long by Baker. Mel will get there first. Pressure from McManus, but no help along the front line. Is Madison able to turn it forward? And Garcia going at Perkins again. Back off of the left winger for forward Madison. Perkins wins this duel. McManus went for the finesse. Shipman watching it very carefully. There just seems an uncharacteristic frailty at the back for Madison. The ball gets sent long or plays that don't entirely seem dangerous, resulting in shots easily for Texoma. Here's another opportunity. Oh, off the crossbar from McCormick. Johnny picking it up, end line. And it's out, I believe, off the foot of Shipman. First, the shot from McCormick, an absolute laser. Johnny's had some zip as well, as it's Spengler. Awkward deflection over the top, and it will be another corner. It's Texoma players showing off some great technique, ball striking ability. There was another ball sneaking its way onto the field over there, so they do the corner again. The former Hofstra man, Teddy Baker. Plays it short to Ramos. Swung back in by Baker. Chavez can't get ahead on it. But that means it will be Texoma ball off of Mel. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Valentine with the diagonal. Corbett couldn't bring it in, claiming a touch from Kroll, but doesn't get the decision from the referee. About 5 minutes until what we would expect to be the halftime break, but do recall we had that long stoppage after Texoma's goal as they attended to Bortnichuk. So I imagine there will be at least 3 minutes of first half stoppage time. That's an unofficial remark, but just mentioning it to those who may be joining us late after the Chattanooga 1 Knoxville match. McCormick has McManus in the middle, slid away by John Murphy.
Brought to you by Brazen Ready-Ball.
This will be a 4th corner of the match for Texoma. Going for the in-swinger with Ramos. A couple players crowning Shipman. Calamity of bodies in the 6-yard box. That's where it's headed from Ramos, but a little bit too softly. Bartman off to Kroll. And the Mingos can move their line forward. Baker taking control. An ambitious crossfield ball, but well read by Jake Kroll. See Shipman asking for the patience in the build-up. Fort Madison trying to play their game. Garcia up against Perkins. Christopher Garcia, and another shot is blocked. He can't believe that one of these chances has not been closer to goal. The Mingos keep pressing. Gebhard, Garcia in a questionable area. Gebhard goes down, but scrambles back to his feet as it's Bartman now. Coming through, big palm, and it's over the top. John Murphy flashing it high, and it's a great save. A strong wrist from Javier Garcia when Bartman got through. Murphy unable to stay over his volley. But you think back to the start of that entire attack and you think about Shipman telling his team, let's just slow it down a touch. Let's have some patience, and it immediately pays off for Forward Madison. Getting back to what was working in the opening 10 minutes or so of this match, where they were certainly on top of things. Texoma with a flurry in the middle of the half that ended in that goal for McManus. But Forward Madison trying to regain some control as we meander our way towards halftime. Hearing now that we could be looking at 7 minutes of stoppage time. Loose touch from Souza. A little bit of frustration you could hear picked up by our pitch side microphones. Turned into a beautiful evening at Sherman Bearcat Stadium. 82 degrees at kickoff. I mean, there were some dark clouds during the warm-ups, but sun peeking back out. And the home fans seeing Los Pájaros in front yet again. Seeking a 5th win in 8 matches. Trying to continue this 7-game unbeaten run in the league. Great combination. Doesn't quite come off with the final touch from McManus. But then as McLaughlin carried away, scrambled back. Texoma getting all the black shirts right around it. And regaining possession in a flash. Baker and Ramos right on top of the back 4. Allowing the outside backs to move up the fields.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th official has indicated there will be a minimum of 7 minutes.
It's McCormick popping up on the left. Now John A, his opposite, coming inside, finds Spengler. Ramos. A little bit of a spill from Shipman, but right back over it. A long shot from Mr. Aussie there. 28-year-olds, League One veteran. Used to play for Madison as well. Made 7 appearances after a late season transfer the end of the 2023 campaign from Central Valley Fuego. Two pink jerseys colliding. And the yellow card issued to Timmy Mell. And that is his 5th of the season. As they sandwiched Spengler. Just an idea of the attention drawn by the leading goal scorer for this Texoma team, Spengler. 5 goals and 4 assists this year. Off to a phenomenal start. Just 2 behind the lead for the Golden Boot race. And his goals and assists have been a huge part of this run for Texoma. But Adrian Forbes was very quick to emphasize to me that it's about a lot more than his individual performances. Everything he does is about the team. It's about working hard for his teammates. It's about creating opportunities for others before himself. He has been the man able to take advantage of a lot of the decisive attacks for Texoma, but a credit to his hard work. John A with a great touch. Was he brought down? He was. And it's a straight red card for Faraday Souza. The last defender. And Brian Yip has seen that as the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. With John A in on goal, the contact happens at the edge of the 18-yard box. So this will not be a penalty kick. But because it's not a penalty kick, that does leave Souza vulnerable to the red card. If it was inside the box, they don't give red cards and penalties at the same time. Worst he could have got was a yellow, but considered to be the last defender. And you don't often see it that far, at that much of an angle away from the goal. You can see exactly where the spray is put down here. But the fact that John A was coming from left to right, going infield, and did take a good touch that would have put him through on goal. Brian Yip making the decision that there wasn't another Madison defender close enough, and Souza hits the showers early. Texoma up a goal and up a man with a couple minutes left of this extended first half stoppage period. trying to put last place for Madison in a hole that they cannot escape. For Madison, Matt Glazer making a change before this free kick is taken, and Derek Gebhard is sacrificed here, the leading goal scorer. Now, Nico Brown is a very creative player, but not quite the goal threat that Gebhard has been this season. A forced change as Baker has the free kick, palmed by Shipman. And the crash of the goal from Texoma. There's a foul against Chavez. Baker trying to catch Shipman out. Hard to tell exactly what Chavez did there, but he sees the bright side of things, and certainly easier too when you're up a goal and up a man. Halftime approaching. Both teams forced to make first half subs. The injury to Bortnichuk brings on John A. right after the Texoma goal on the play that led to the goal. And John A is the man who draws the red card against Souza. In response, Matt Glazer taking off Gebhard, bringing on Nico Brown. We'll have to see exactly how that plays out formationally. But for now, Brown out on the right. He's making a run here ahead of Nazim Bartman. Met by Valentine. Cross touched away, but back to forward Madison. Brown again. Center ball. A man goes down, and this is going to be a penalty kick for forward Madison. Their best source of offense lately, and they get another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A caution has been issued by the referee.
Keep an eye on the middle here. McLaughlin shoved by Chavez. We've seen that time and time again in the first half, especially in the opening 15 minutes or so. There were a couple different fouls between those two players, and this one results in a penalty.
Number 25, forward Madison.
A lifeline for forward Madison just after going down a man deep into first half stoppage time. Javier Garcia going over to check his notes on the water bottle. There's a lot of notes to go off this year. McLaughlin is 2 for 2 across the last 2 games on penalty kicks, and he steps up to take it. What a moment in this match. Garrett McLaughlin for forward Madison with a shimmy of the hips as he squares up Javier Garcia. McLaughlin to the left, and it's saved by Garcia. He did his research. He was all over it. An early dive and steady hands. McLaughlin was decisive. He didn't want to change his mind, and he doesn't put it far enough in the corner. So that is the final action of the first half, and Texoma able to hang on to their 1-0 lead as we enter the halftime break. A late red card for forward Madison has changed this match as well after the first half goal from Brandon McManus. Well, what drama at Sherman Bearcat Stadium We thank you for joining us for the first half. We've got a lot to break down. We'll step aside for a moment and be right back. Your halftime score, Texoma 1, Madison 0.
Parker University offers a range of degrees tailored for aspiring health professionals looking to work in the areas of sports, fitness, strength, and wellness. Degrees available include functional nutrition, strength and human performance, sports psychology, anatomy, and more. All programs are fully online with financial aid available to those who qualify. Whether you are an athlete or want to help others live their best life, check us out at parker.edu. That's parker.edu.
What is Parker Performance Institute about? At Parker Performance Institute, we empower individuals to unlock their full potential. Our goal is to provide brain and body care to speed up recovery, improve function, and enhance performance. Our patients range from concussion and brain injury to sports injuries and prevention. We'll tailor a treatment plan for your best results. Being the healthiest you can be is important to you and us. Discover how we can help by visiting parkerperformanceinstitute.com.
We welcome you back to halftime in Texoma. Homestanding Pájaros up 1-0 on the Mingos. And for the first segment of our halftime show, we're gonna wind it back and take a look at the goal and save of the week throughout USL League One.
Ladies and gentlemen, the future.
The signal right, leaves it. Crafty bend by Nathan Messer. A lot on it. Out front, still loose. Avielta tries to clear it away. Ollie Wright regathers. Out front again. Redirected. Top corner. Rustles the twine. A goal apiece. Liati gets it to go.
In by Evans. It sits up. Robles. How is the ball not down the back of the net?
The stakes are higher. You know what's on the line.
We're here to support the crest, the club, and the community.
This is what the Heady Derby's all about.
I don't know about other people, but I kind of get goosebumps.
Love no matter what.
Love this team. Pack these stands out for every single game.
This week on USL All Access, is it really possible that an end-of-year meeting in 2019 helped shape and shift the entire championship transfer market? Head coach Ben Pierman of the Charleston Battery joins us to say, yes, we got Jägermeister Cup action for you. Mike and I break down the groups as they approach their final match day in this interleague tournament, and the USL Championship takes the national stage. Multiple games on CBS Sports Network this week. We'll break them down for you.
Today we went to the beach and it was totally worth it.
Stay
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Off to the races for Monterey Bay. It's Larson!
Warren takes the shot. A banger to put Orange County up 3-1.
So we started with our look back at goals of the week, save of the week, and now we go to the news of the week in USL League One, our news and notes. And there's a new face on the block, Athletic Club Boise, revealing the new branding at Expo Boise. And they've been off to a great start with their season ticket deposits out there in Boise, an exciting new club to join the league. Eduardo Blancas was certainly the man of the week, getting the hat trick in AV Alta's 4-1 win over FC Naples. And then Greenville triumph, taking down a Miami FC team with a 2-0 win in the Jägermeister Cup. First time in their successful history that they've beaten a higher division opponent. So they'll be in good form. That is the next match for Madison. Something to keep an eye on. And then the team of the week from week 16, highlighted by none other than Ajmir Spengler for his performance for Texoma. Also Solomon Asante making the bench for Texoma as well. And there's a look at the guys who made up that unit. AV Alta certainly well represented. Portland with a couple players in the starting lineup. Greenville and Westchester as well, as Dave Carton got the nod for Coach of the Week. There's been some shifts in the standings today. We entered this match with Texoma in 9th place, and by virtue of their current 1-0 scoreline, these are the live standings. Texoma up to 6th. That -6 goal difference is holding them back from even being a little bit higher, but right up there with FC Naples, Chattanooga Red Wolves. And it is important to note that even though One Knoxville did lose to Chattanooga Red Wolves, they still got a couple games in hand compared to a lot of those teams around them. Union Omaha and Portland could be sneaky as well. And again, Forward Madison still in the basement. So that's a look at where things are as we head towards second half action. Can Forward Madison climb out, down a man? Or will Texoma get a grip on that 6th position? We're going to find out after this break. Welcome back to historic Bearcat Stadium under the moonlight as the sun sets over Texas, and Texoma up 1-0 at the halftime break over Forward Madison. Let's take a look at how that first half played out. Boy, for a 1-0 game, we got a lot to go over here. First big chance of the match came to Forward Madison on a free kick from the edge of the area, a little bit wide of the net. And then it was Garrett McLaughlin who had a chance when the cross fell to him, and moments later, it's Texoma springing to life after the early pressure from the away side. It's the home team on the board first. A little bit of chaos at the back caused by the run from Luke McCormick, and then it's Brandon McManus on the spot, reacting quickest and firing it into the back of the net. Lots to be happy about with the 1-0 lead, and it so nearly became 2 on a wonderful piece of play. Some unselfish teamwork from Texoma. And then there was a response late on in the half. Forward Madison fighting their way back into it. A couple of chances, forcing a save out of Javier Garcia. And another pivotal turning point as Souza was sent off for a last man offense against Lamine Jane, a first half substitute. So down, and it's McLaughlin missing from the spot, saved by Garcia. And things just not going right for Forward Madison, despite the 11 shots, despite the possession edge. 1-0 to Texoma, and Forward Madison playing this road match down a man for the final 45. We'll see what kind of response they can give. They had to sub out Derek Gebhard, their leading goal scorer, in response to that red card. So it'll be interesting to see how much they have in the tank for the second half against this Texoma team moving up into the playoff spots as results stand. You notice the difference in shots on target, 2 shots, when you compare these two teams. Texoma have been so efficient with their finishing this season. 20% conversion rate, and coming into the week, they had a 35% conversion rate across their last 5 games in the league, which is part of this unbeaten run they've had. They are not a team that dominates the ball, that keeps all the possession, but when they get it, they strike, and they don't miss very often. They forced 6 saves out of Burn Shipman in the first half, finding the back of the net once. And so we enter second half action with Texoma up a goal, up a man, live on ESPN+. Parker Johnson with you for the second 45 as the Mingos get it underway. Desperate for a response. McLaughlin quickly found his way behind, and he was onside. Denied again by Garcia. The May Player of the Month in USL League One, with another big stop against the veteran forward. But Forward Madison showing some impetus straight away, and maybe getting a sense that they could go a little more direct. Corner from Kroll. Ramos heads. Followed up by Perkins as Ramos storms out. He can't hit the outlet to Spengler. Very interested to see what tweaks Matt Glazer may have made at halftime. And likewise, Adrian Forbes had a really interesting discussion with the Texoma coach this week as we talked about what it meant to be the underdogs and how much his team has really embraced that, how they've heard criticism after their slow start, how they've felt like people don't believe in them even during the current unbeaten run. Hearing people say that it could be a flash in the pan. Will they be consistent and keep it going? They thrive off that determination to prove them wrong. And so here in this game, playing with the lead and with the man advantage is not the situation that they've been in too often this year. Much different dynamic against a desperate Madison team without much to lose at this point, albeit down the player. These free kicks will become invaluable currency in the second half for Forward Madison. John Murphy tasked to make the most of this one as the center backs come forward. Floated in. And a collision of bodies. Mitch Osmond going down. A couple of Texoma players defending against him, using that extra man to their advantage on the set piece. If there's a man you need to double mark, it's probably the big Aussie. His absence has been felt this year for Madison. Brings so much more than just his great defensive abilities. He's a leader of this team. He's a standard setter, a motivator on the pitch. Just making his 5th start of the year in league play. Trying to get a good run of games. McManus acrobatically off to McCormick, who goes down. Continues with Spengler, and Baker didn't get a hold of it. The moments of interplay around the edge of the box, when those like Luke McCormick spark to life, is exhilarating to watch from Texoma. Adrian Forbes said that his desire is for the front four to be as fluid as possible in the 4-4-2, so it's 2 forwards, one of them being Ajmir Spengler, who plays a little bit more like a number 10. And you got McManus and a pair of wingers, and we saw against Spokane, a man who started on the right in Bortnichuk scoring from the left. Forbes said that is by design. They have the freedom to move around, to interchange positions, as long as they're filling in roles for one another and they're getting back in shape defensively. When they have the ball, they are encouraged to express themselves. Valentine picking out McManus, down for McCormick. And another save for Shipman, up to 7 on the night, which, as it stands, is tied for the most in a game in USL League One this season, and we've got a long way to go. A busy birthday for Burn Shipman. Spending his 31st in Sherman, Texas. There will be a fireworks show after the game as well. But there haven't been any shortage of ballistics on the pitch. Ford Madison able to get it out as Bartman collects on the left. Has Garcia for company. Baker closing. Garcia goes down, and a late whistle coming in from Brian Yip, who took his time to think about it and eventually gives the foul against Texoma. Adrian Forbes is fuming. Forbes was not able to coach from the sideline during the midweek match against Spokane, that 1-1 draw, because in their previous league game at home, he was sent off at the end of the Texoma-Charlotte match, a game that ended 3-2, but he was sent off in protest of a late penalty decision that tied it at 2 for Charlotte. Looks like the game was destined to finish 2-2, or maybe Charlotte could even get a winner as the Mingos attack here. Garcia. May have been an offside or a foul in the buildup, but the whistle goes. Offside it is, signaled by the official. So Forbes gets sent off as Charlotte get a penalty kick to equalize. Lo and behold, Texoma able to respond, and with the final kick of the match, Solomon Asante couldn't figure it out. He hears a massive roar from the crowd and pokes his head back out to find out what's going on. He said he saw the scoreboard but had no idea what happened. In any case, the red card caused him to miss the match against Spokane, and he said that experience was horrible, having to watch from the side and not being able to have an influence on the team. So he said he wants to avoid that again if possible. So if you see him cutting his protest short in the referee's ear, that certainly could be part of his thinking. Nico Brown navigating infield from the right. They will need his attacking spark if Madison are able to generate some offense down a man without Gebhardt on the pitch, without Devin Boyce today from the start. Garcia's been quite active. His pass splits the difference between Brown and Bartman, but then there's a whistle, and Texoma able to get away after the foul from Timmy Mell. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Bartman driving at the defense. Chavez goes to ground, and it's out to Nico Brown. Murphy had 3 points lined up, but no threat to Javier Garcia's goal. The stadium known for American football. They can pack as many as 10,000 fans in here for the annual Battle of the Axe between the Sherman Bearcats and rival high school Denison. It's interesting when you hear the roots of Texoma within the context of that rivalry. They split the difference. They play their home games here at Sherman, of course, but they actually train at the field at Denison High School. So you can't call out Texoma for preferring one side of that rivalry or the other. Certainly love the gridiron game, but the world of football has become a serious presence here for the fans as well. John A. As it plucked off his toes by Shipman, but making that out to in diagonal dart that he did for the play that resulted in the red card in the first half, showing how dangerous he can be getting behind the defense. Chavez probably nearing a persistent infringement, yellow. Another foul against the captain as Bartman thinks about a shot and thinks better of it. Cut out by Reed Valentine. Unable to make up his mind in transition, gives it right back to forward Madison. But all the numbers behind the ball for Texoma as the break didn't quite develop. And they will be happy to soak up some forward Madison pressure here in the second half. Pick their moments to go. Texoma with an average under 44% possession across the USL season. Not a team that dominates games with the ball, but the pressure here from Luke McCormick, and the chase is on for McManus. McCormick asking for some support in the press. Trying to keep the intensity high with Texoma up a man. Brian Yip trying to let the tempers simmer down just a touch before that throw-in came back in. Or play out of the back from forward Madison, but Macias able to recover it. Shipman happy to go long this time. Valentine. Murphy with his head up, drops it back to Kroll. Inviting Nico Brown into the play. McLaughlin on the run, tight angle. And he's pulled up after the shot. McLaughlin felt something as soon as he put his foot through this ball. You can see it. Holding that left leg as he went down, and then watch him scoot back onto the pitch. Just to make sure that takes off a few extra seconds while he gets checked on. Certainly a veteran move from the longtime League One striker. Had a chance in that first half on the penalty just on the stroke of halftime to move into sole possession of second place in the League One goal scoring ranks all time. He's currently tied with Christian Cheney. And if he goes off, not a lot of attacking options left for Matt Glazer to work with. He already had to withdraw Derek Gebhard right after the red card to Faraday Souza, who's an important attacking piece in his own right. Ben McLaughlin, Bartman, and Brown sense the red card as the attacking trio. About the players that they still have available on the bench. Damia Villader did make the squad, but he's been dealing with an injury, so unclear exactly how fit he may be. They've got Adrian Groffin, center forward, available on the bench. Might be the most natural replacement for McLaughlin. And they've got Juan Galindres, who appears to be getting himself ready. Another one of League One's great all-goal scorers. He's here, which is tied for 5th with Olix Anderson. See Galindres and Luca Dorado. standing up on the side as teams get a break here. We had a long injury stoppage in the first half, likewise here in the second. If you joined us late, first half goal from Brandon McManus, his second of the season. After scoring the first goal at home in league play for Texoma, he also scored the first goal in club history in their first Open Cup match of the year. So these fans getting to know Mr. McManus quite well. But Madison had a great opportunity to equalize just before halftime. They earned a penalty kick, and it was saved by Javier Garcia, looking for his third clean sheet of the season. So it's going to be a pair of attackers on for Matt Glazer, Galindres and Dorado. Dorado, number 70, you can see him standing up closest to the ball. The Brazilian on loan from Birmingham Legion. He signed with them out of UCF after scoring 43 goals in his collegiate career across 5 seasons. He made a couple of appearances before coming over to Forward Madison, but he is the owner of the only non-penalty kick goal for Forward Madison across the last 7 matches in all competitions. Luca Dorado. He scored that against Spokane Velocity in what was a 2-1 loss on the road. Joined by Galindres up top. Definitely a different look for Forward Madison here, but they're rolling all the dice, trying to find a way back into this one. Picked up by Valentine. His back post ball settles with Johnnet. McManus with a touch. Didn't get enough on it. Spangler looking for Johnnet, left it a little bit short. Too far for Galindres. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Quite the video game numbers that we've seen put up in the last few matches here in Sherman. Looks like McManus is onside. Set for McCormick, through the legs, and just enough of a touch from Jake Kroll to keep that one wrong side of the post from a Texoma perspective. McManus had time to consider his options. McCormick hit the bar in the first half as well. He's been very dangerous on the attack. I don't know if he actually got credit for the assist on the McManus goal, but it was his run and cross that set up the tap-in for McManus. Corner to the back post. Looked like Chavez was there, but fended off by Timmy Mell. Think back to the first time these two teams ever matched up. Took place in April, and the circumstances were far different. Texoma on the road sporting an 0-4 record heading into that game. losing its first 4 matches in USL League One. Madison at the time had 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss on the season. And that win against Richmond Kickers, still their only one of the campaign. But the game shaped up a little bit like this. Texoma had a lead, and Madison scored at the death in stoppage time. So we're seeing McManus seated on the grass. Adrian Forbes told me that despite conceding that goal, he felt like that was really the moment that things changed for the Fen. To be able to respond from conceding so late in that match was a big part of the mentality shift for Texoma. It's also when they changed formation, started getting some players back, and they have not looked back.
If you get a yellow card live, call Joe Brown Attorney, www.joebrown.law.
Yellow card will go to John A here. Not a lot of protests from him. Texoma leads USL League One with 43, and you can now make that 44 yellow cards this season.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A caution is issued by the referee to Texoma FC, number 30, Lamine John in the 69th minute.
Brown at speed. Looking for the return to Kroll. Valentine is there first. And out for a forward Madison throw-in. As we tick into the 70th minute of action. Still just the McManus goal that separates these two. Madison showing great determination, down a man after the late first half red card. Christopher Garcia outside of the boot and crashing in. Denied as Will Perkins got in the way of Nico Brown. Some incredible defending has left him splayed next to the goalpost. We need another look at that. Javier Garcia trying to keep his team alert. It was the pass, though, from Chris Garcia, who, for my money, has been the best player for forward Madison in this match. Hasn't quite come off for him at a couple of final moments, but he sets up the corner. Nodded away by Ramos. Not the best delivery from Kroll, but he'll get a chance to do it again. The likes of Galindres and Dorado providing a couple of extra targets now that weren't there from the start. In from Kroll, right on top of Javier Garcia. And a comfortable claim for the Texoma goalkeeper. Talked about a few of the shifts that have led to the 7-game unbeaten run that Texoma is on, and you can't talk about it without mentioning Javier Garcia. Goalkeeper who had never previously been a starter, but he got his opportunity coming in for Mason McCready, and he took it with both hands. 2 clean sheets in the month of May and a 92% save percentage. He led Texoma, a team that was leaking goals in the early part of the season, to a run of 4 straight wins, shooting up the table. He looks so steady as John A. evades one challenge, then tries to split 2 defenders and goes down. Madison trying to move quickly in the other direction. Brown, Garcia. One thing about Javier Garcia, he likes to come off his line. We saw it in the match against Spokane. on the goal that Velocity FC scored. He came all the way out and then eventually was caught out by Neil Vinyals. Coach Forbes said that he supports his goalkeeper making those decisions. You got to be bold, you got to be brave, and sometimes you might get punished for it, but more often than not, he's been successful. Another corner in quick succession for the Mingos. This one goes low. Galindres firing off a shot. Given the angle, looks like this will be a throw-in. Galindres doing what he does best, playing back to goal. The 31-year-old Colombian bagsman. Still looking for his first goal of the season. If he could find it in this match, that would be a big moment. Madison with their backs against the wall, and there comes Garcia flying out of goal and intercepting the crossfield pass intended for Nico Brown. It's been a spark plug since he's come on. Galindres stuck in an unfamiliar spot, playing a bit of right wing at the moment, given the shuffles that Madison has had to make since the red card, and just unable to read the trajectory of the long ball as he went back towards his own net. A cheap corner here for Texoma. Taken by Teddy Baker. Chavez twirling in the 6-yard box. Defensive header. This will be another corner from the opposite side.
TFC, 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 TFC.
In from Ramos, a leaping Johnny. McCormick has a hit. Spangler knocking it back out to Ramos. Taken down, shot from Chavez, 2-0. It took more than 30 minutes here in the second half, but Texoma has taken advantage of the extra man, and it's the captain, Jordan Chavez, on a recycled corner, set off by his center back partner, Calfo, and how about that for the goal-scoring duo? Left-footed shot through the traffic, so hard for Shipman to see. Bounces right into the bottom corner. As Chavez scores his first goal for Texoma FC. Just the 4th of his professional career. And a pair of subs on the way for Adrian Forbes. As we will see Pila Dlamini come in the midfield. And El Trencito, Diego Pepe, in up top. Looks like McManus off for Pepe.
Substitution for Texoma FC in the
I thought that's right. I thought I saw 3 players come off there. So also, Dane Domic will come on, number 11. Spangler, McCormick, and McManus off. Domic, Pepe, and Lamini on. Showcase of strength from the bench for Texoma. They had a lot of players available for this match, and some players not even making the squad who had a case for selection. Coach Forbes said he was expecting, coming off that match away at Spokane, to maybe play a 5v5 in training, something like that. Turned into an 8v8 because they had a lot more guys available than originally anticipated. So a chance for some of those subs to get some minutes late on here as Valentine's pass deflected back towards Galindres, but the play is stopped. I wonder if it was a handball off of the Madison player inadvertently.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Texoma FC goal scored by number 12.
And now in response, a pair of switches for Matt Glazer. Mitchell Osmond will depart, still finding his fitness after his 5th start of the season. Michael Chilaka coming in, a natural replacement at center back. They've got a platoon of 4, which serves well for Matt Glazer's back 3. Anytime you need to take one out, they've got straight up swaps, and he feels that all 4 center backs are kind of at that same level. I also saw Damia Vieder, number 3, into perhaps the midfield, perhaps the attack. Hard to know given the status of Madison down a man here. But he will bring a little bit of creative presence underneath the likes of Galindres and Dorado. Here is Vieder. And Chavez has gone down off the ball. Not Chavez, rather. But one of the Texoma players in pain, I believe it's Dane Domic, who just came into the match. The last thing you want to see. It happens off the ball. He's the one pressuring, and it just pulls up as he takes a step. Domic making just his 3rd appearance for Texoma. They've all come off the bench, and he'd only played 14 minutes in the league this season. Did recently get a start in the Jägermeister Cup against El Paso Locomotive. Texoma still just about alive in that competition, although their 5-4 defeat to Phoenix Rising in a 9-goal affair here at Sherman Bobcat Stadium. Bearcat Stadium, pardon me. That did hamper their chances, but they've got a couple more games left in the Jägermeister Cup. They got 1 in hand compared to their group mates, so they could have a miracle and get out of the group. Right now, it looks like their unbeaten streak in the league is going to continue. Entering the match, 7 games without a loss. 4 wins, 3 draws, and in full control here against Forward Madison. Aching for their teammate Domic. Can't put any pressure on that right leg. And they'll get a taller body in to help him out. Mason McCready helping his teammate off the pitch, and some words of encouragement from Ozzy Ramos as well. Such a tight-knit group. Adrian Forbes was telling me about how much this team has really rallied and come together, and it goes down to every single member of this club, on and off the pitch, even down to his wife and his kids, who are super involved with this team. His wife, Shelly, cutting up positive messages and pasting them in the locker room for her players. And she said that anything she can do to breed a little bit of positivity, it will pay off for the team. And that's what we see as their fallen teammate goes off. And in comes Leland Gray. Like McManus, he made the team off of an open tryout. Hasn't made a ton of appearances this season. This just his third in league play, but he got a start in the Jägermeister Cup and an assist in that wild match against Phoenix Rising. He joins Dlamini in the midfields. Graham, more defensive midfield player, but could have a bit more freedom. Loose touch from Villader, and a tough pass back to Javier Garcia, but he controls it deftly. Valentine can't get it around the corner, and out for a Texoma throw. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Could be a 4-on-1 here for Texoma. Gray bursting inside, cutting it across, and nobody was home. He made the unselfish decision, but in the end, he's left a couple teammates stranded who were on the opposite side of him. A missed opportunity for Texoma to make it 3. Can Ford Madison make him pay here? Kroll with a laser. Scored from a similar spot against one Knoxville this season. He's got a great strike on him. Texoma was wasteful in transition, and it's quite rare for this team who've hung their hat on their impressive conversion rates. Texoma, and this number won't increase because of that last transition, but just 3 big chances missed, according to the advanced analytics, whoever gets to decide what a big chance is. But far and away the least in the league. Compare that to Madison, they miss an average of 1.2 big chances per match. Texoma just 3 times all season missing a clear-cut chance in front of goal. They may not create as many as other teams, and on a case like that last breakaway, if you don't create a shot, it probably doesn't count as one. But in any case, just a note that points out the ruthlessness of Texoma in front of goal. Four minutes plus stoppage time, and there will probably be a healthy chunk. Madison still pushing. Fourth official calling out to Brian Yip that a player from the bench had put that ball back onto the pitch. So he has issued a yellow card. And our eyes down below telling us that it may have been Ozzy Ramos to receive the yellow, but we will await the confirmation on that. As Forward Madison continue, Kroll's cross blocked by Valentine. Kept in play by John A, but only to the Mingos. The wisest decision there. Macias spraying it over to Chilaka. Some late contact. I think that was against Texoma. Forward Madison want to take the free kick quickly. Had an opportunity with Brown, but it's pulled back by Brian Yip. This game staggering to a close. At the moment, Texoma would be moving up to 6th position in the table, but still with a -5 goal differential. And so anything they could pull back towards the end of this match, given the man advantage and the tired legs of Madison, could hold some value to them. And likewise, a goal from Madison. The last thing that Texoma needs here. Not only to put this game in jeopardy, but to harm that goal difference. They may get an opportunity from the set piece. Viader is a specialist, and he sets the ball down with some intention. Dlamini caught in the tackle. Nico Brown gesturing for the ball. He is open over there, but I don't know that they're gonna get anybody to pass up this look at goal. Murphy does give it out to Brown. Cut in, but short of the mark. Brown gets it back, and it's out to Kroll. Whipped in, header, and a goal for Forward Madison. No! Saved off the line, and then the crossbar. A signal from the referee. I believe that he's called this. He's calling for the trainers. He's calling for the trainers. Thought I saw him point at his watch, and maybe the ball had gone over the line. Here's another look. Is that a save from Garcia? Before then, it's plucked off the line by Will Perkins at the last moment. The follow-up off the crossbar. What a save from Javier Garcia. And I think he gets a hand on the second one as well. The follow-up from Chilaka. Absolutely heroic goalkeeping. Not to downplay the actual save off the line from Perkins too, but how that ball has stayed out of Texoma's net, I wouldn't know in a million years. Madison players still seem to be upset, thinking that the initial shot crossed the line, and there was a little bit of discussion. As we await the restart here, the referee had called the play dead to check on Garcia out of fear of a head injury, so it looks like there will be some kind of drop ball. Just trying to calm all the tempers. But everybody seems to be okay. Miraculously, the ball stays out of the Texoma net. And another one of those plays that seemingly sums up Forward Madison's season. Just can't get anything to go in the back of the net, especially from open play. They've missed a penalty kick tonight as well. A couple of significant saves from Garcia. None more so than that last sequence as Galindres looking for a window to goal. Pepe with some defensive work. John A in transition, big touch, calling out Shipman. And he's around the goalkeeper. Has to navigate back in. Shipman retreating, across. Macias with the touch, and then it's out from Murphy, who pulls up. Kroll trying to get the ball away. And the whistle blown as the forward Madison player still down. This break from Lamine Jalne, the Gambian. And Burn Shipman did enough to knock him off of his path. Macias and then Timmy Mel combining for the recovery. And Mel is the one who stayed down afterwards. Halfway through 6 minutes of stoppage time, and it feels like there may be more added on. John A still catching his breath from that crazy counter. And forward Madison still, I think, protesting that non-goal crossing the line. They've certainly had their chances, the away team here. But it looks like their winless streak in the league is going to continue after the brief respite of the Jägermeister Cup and a 1-0 result over 1 Knoxville. 18 shots tonight from forward Madison, putting 4 of them on target. 3 big saves made by Javier Garcia. 8 for Burn Shipman, which is a single game record for the 2025 season. Pila Dlamini has been given a yellow card. And you know, I'd tell you if I had any idea what was going on here. But I'll let the pictures speak for themselves at the moment. Calls for the final whistle, growing louder at historic Sherman Bearcat Stadium. The fans minutes away from celebrating a victory, another Texoma victory with some fireworks. And yet another whistle that is not the final whistle. Diego Pepe has picked up a yellow card for our official Brian Yip. Forward Madison still pushing on. Jake Kroll gets his head on it. Sent long by Dlamini. Shipman wants a final launch. It'll have to come from someone else. Macias. Picked off by John A. And that will do it from Sherman, Texas. Texoma rolls on. Now an 8-match unbeaten streak. A second half goal from the captain, Jordan Chavez, doubling the lead provided in the first half by Brandon McManus, as Texoma went up a man and had to escape conceding a penalty right before halftime to see this game out and notch their 5th victory in the league this season, all coming in the last 8 matches, up to 6th in the standings. And Forward Madison stays in the bottom spot. We will wrap it all up right after this short break. Our final score in Texoma, 2-0 win for the home side as Los Pájaros keep flying. Here's how it all went down from historic Sherman Bearcat Stadium. A first half where Forward Madison got off on the front foot, and this was really the first chance that Texoma had the entire game. It's spilled by Shipman, and McManus happy to take advantage, scoring his 2nd goal of the season. Both have come at home in the league. And he put Los Pájaros up 1-0 in the first half. But that was not the end of the drama in the first period. At this point, we're into first half stoppage time. Lamine John-A is taken down by the last man, Faraday Souza. He gives the red card. And it was not a penalty kick, but this was for Forward Madison. Again, still in first half stoppage time. Madison could have equalized down a man, but McLaughlin from the spot, read well by Javier Garcia, who was not called into action as many times as Burn Shipman tonight, but boy, did he have a big impact on this match. We shift into second half action, and Texoma doubled their lead. Jordan Chavez on a center back to center back connection. The layoff from his partner, Angelo Calfo. Chavez earns his first goal for Texoma FC, a fan favorite, and somebody who had an immense performance in this match. This was a wild sequence late on, just as we crossed into second half stoppage time. A double save from Garcia and one off the line from Will Perkins, controversially so, as Forward Madison was convinced that that ball was in the goal. There was a late chance for Texoma to add to their goal difference on the season, with John A sprinting in behind and Shipman coming off his line, but they scrambled it away well. And forward Madison, you know, it's been a tough season for them, but you have to give so much credit to Matt Glazer's team. They fought until the end of this one. They made some really positive changes in the second half, and they battled to the end. They outshot Texoma in this match, outpossessed even down a man, but ultimately a 2-0 defeat as their winless streak extends to 10. We say good night from Texoma. I want to give a huge thank you to our crew led by James, Omar, and Ed, and everybody else down in Sherman, Texas. It's been a pleasure bringing you this one. USL League One action finishes Texoma 2, forward Madison 0. Have a great night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.